y'all, I'm Hope here at Crafty Hope, and welcome. It is time for the week 46 mixed media prompt project for hashtag Crafty Hope prompts. Now that is a challenge I created for myself but have opened up to any of you that want to play along. Basically, knowing that there were 52 cards in a playing card deck and 52 weeks in a year, I thought that was a great opportunity to alter a playing card each week. And since I really enjoy prompt challenges, I thought it was a great idea to kind of include that in there. So I made a list of prompts, 156 of them. I've got that list below for you. And each week I'm drawing those 3 prompts and altering my playing card into a prompt card. So I use the prompts on both sides. One I just keep decorative and the other one includes the prompts so that later on I can use these cards as a prompt deck and pull from them for inspiration. Now I plan to use like this card in conjunction with some of the other cards so that I get different prompts every time and I'm not using the same 3. But I make my cards every Monday. On Saturday, I do take these 3 prompts and do a different project. So I'm not just doing cards all the time over and over, and that's it. I want to use them in something else, and it is time for that something else. So if you want to play along, you're welcome to use the prompts that I've drawn for the week, or you can get that list, like I said, I have below, and create whatever, and pull your own prompts to create whatever you want. This card I created this past Monday using the prompts ribbon, white marker, and colored pencil, and that is the prompt for this week. For my prompt projects, I tend to do a variety of things. I've done tags and art journals and junk journals and assemblage projects and jewelry and bookmarks and all kinds of things. And I'm going to do something a little bit different this week. So, like I said, my prompts are ribbon, white marker, and colored pencil. For ribbon, I did the Trading Paper Pals swap hosted by Aaron and Rose. And one of my partners was Jana Clennard Harris, who sent me, I've gotten her package, and in it, including the paper, in addition to the papers, were a bunch of these ribbon snippets. And I thought, well, ribbon's one of my prompts. This might be the perfect opportunity to use some of these little ribbon, and so I've got an idea for this. This may come at the end of it. I may also pull out some of my own ribbon, but the ribbon she sent me is what kind of is sparking this idea. So thinking, and for white marker, I've got some of the same markers I had out before. I'll tell you when I use them. I'll tell you about them. And then for colored pencils, I pulled out my Prismacolors because those are the ones I really enjoyed working with when I made this card. In fact, I just ordered me some more Prismacolor pencils because I've only got this small set. And so I was looking to link these up in my description box where I've got my materials list, and I found that they had the 60 pencils. It's the Scholar set from Prismacolor, marked down from like $70 to $20. So I snapped it up. It's coming in tomorrow, so I don't even have it to do this project with, but I thought, hey, I'll go ahead and use these if I don't finish this and this comes in, because I am pre-recording this. Then I'll use them then, and we'll see. So I will likely use the Prismacolors just because they're what I'm enjoying, and yeah. But if all you have is Crayola or a Stabilo or some other kind of colored pencil, go with that. Don't go buy it. But if you want a good deal on those Prismacolor Scholars, I'll try to link that if that sale is still going on, because yeah. I was pretty blown away by it was like 72% off or something. So, all right. So thinking about the colored pencils and how I would like to use them more, I kind of want to do like a flower bouquet type painting. So I have pulled out, this is a You Create paint pad. It says that it is heavyweight watercolor and acrylic. I get it at my grocery store. And I really like this paper. I've used it for a lot of things. In fact, I've got a couple more pads off to the side in case I can no longer find it. So these sheets come in 9 by 12 inches. So I have cut one of them down. I'm almost finished with this pad. I have cut this one down into two 6 by 9 pages, and I think I'm going to work on both of them. So I want to start with some collage and some other things, and I'm going to see if I can find a place to put my ribbons so I don't lose them, but we'll see. I'll probably need to change out my water too because it's really gunky still from my Seek Gather crate. All right, let me I'm already gonna get these dirty. Let me put my card up, and we're gonna start with some collage. This whole project was a really long process. At some point in here, the light is going to change because I did it at night and it gets very dark in my craft room without the window. So anyway, I did start with the collage. I am simply using my Uhu glue stick and several different papers. I do not want to cover the entirety of these pages, and I was trying to keep that in mind because once I start collaging, I am very apt to just go for it and cover the entire thing. I just wanted to add a little additional texture to the background, mostly visually, but physically also. So it just wanted a few things down that would be, yeah, nice on here. So, and I have sped up parts of this. We'll get to that down the way. I may have to introduce some music to the video to get through those portions because yeah, this was something that I was just going for. Like I said, it's going to be dark in here a little while. My husband was having band practice, and instead of going and binging some TV, I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep working on my project and get this done. So yeah, but for now, I'm just putting down different book pages and collage materials. There's a handwritten letter and map and something in either Chinese or Japanese. I'm not sure. And that's all the collage I'm doing right there, y'all. That's it. So I'm going to, and I might do, when I do this again, I will very likely use a different paper. This was not as firm, I think, as I had hoped it would be, but it was a good practice to just use something, you know, inexpensive and that, you know, was fun to play on. But I also might be a little more thoughtful in where I put down my collage papers. So, but you know, it's a start. It was something I've been wanting to do, and I'm doing it. So this is, I'm not even sure, it's light olive green, I think is the color, some just acrylic paint. And I am going to cover the entirety of the paper with this color. So, and I'm glad that I worked in two, because I could put, like, once I get this spread out, I could put it aside and do the other one. I'm not going to show you the entire full painting process for both of them, but I will show you for this one. So heads up on that. Like I said, this was a really long process all in all. So I'm going to put that one over to the side, grab my other collage paper, and then this is like a neutral gray color. Y'all, I was just randomly picking colors. I really, really like how the green worked out. I wish I did something other than the gray, because I think it ended up being way more opaque than the green is. So you can see as I'm covering this, I'm dipping in some water, trying to get to spread some more. I grabbed this scraping tool, yeah, which was nice. Helped reveal some of what was underneath. Some of those collage papers I kind of wanted to keep, but it's, yeah, I can only do so much. Scraping and moving it around and just trying to get these colors down on these two papers. And so far, I don't think, no, it's going to be a while before I bring in all three of my prompts here, but in the end, they work all three beautifully together. And that was, I think that was my problem with having white marker and colored pencil as two of my prompts, is they're both mark making tools, which meant I somehow had to make marks or drawings or something with both of them. And yeah, I've redrawn the last couple prompts when there were two different colors, and I didn't want to do that again in here. And actually, I didn't even think about it. So I'm only using the Prismacolor pencils in here in my little set of, I think it's like 24. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a couple of flowers. I did not practice these. I did not have any forethought on them. I'm holding the pencil fairly loosely. I just wanted something super sketchy on here. And for some reason, what color was that pencil? That was like purple or something. So I've got it drawn just, yeah, I was trying to draw some botanicals there that it doesn't work out great. They don't end up right where I want them to be. I don't even think I did that one over on that side. I'm not sure. And then I've got a red pencil for this gray one. Now, again, this gray one was kind of weird. It was much more slick and shiny than the green one was for some reason. I don't know what was going on with these paints. They're like sample paints that I have. And I'm just trying to get through them and use them. So that's why they got used. So, and again, I'm loosely holding these pencils, drawing some super sloppy flowers. I really liked the flowers on this one more than the flowers on the green one, but I liked the results of the green one a little bit better than this one. I don't know how to explain it. You'll see as we get through this. So I created myself a paint palette. This is just one of those palette papers, and put out just a ton of colors. I should have probably done a fairly limited palette and then mixed things, but you know what? I'm trying to use up paints, so I am just going for it. I'm using a fairly large brush. I tend to use much smaller brushes. And I'm playing. It's odd, it's weird, nothing makes sense. I am just trying to slap down some paint and make some flowers. So I was having trouble seeing my my colored pencil marks, gracious. And I think that was just the angle of things. So, and at this point, was it dark at this point? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, this may be after Pat started band practice. So, all right, so I've got those down. I'm kind of, futzing. I'm realizing the colors are blending all into one kind of mush. So I know that I need to probably go ahead and put this aside, but I realized I didn't have any green paints. So I went and got some green paints and some other paint brushes, and I'm going to do some of those botanicals I thought I had drawn in. Maybe I do put it on both sides. I could, trying to do the stem there was not great. This is all, y'all, this is all new to me. It's not something I've done before, I've ever done before. Well, I mean, I've played around with this type of painting before, but it's not my usual. So, and that's kind of what this project is for me, is to test out things, test out materials, try things, see what I enjoy, combine these things, these prompts, the ribbon, the white marker, the colored pencil. How do these combine to create something? So I've moved on to my gray one. I decided I was mushing the colors up plenty enough on the green one. And you can see that these papers are already kind of starting to curl from the media I have on there. This is a new to me brush. It was odd, and I'm trying to work with it. And it's kind of neat that I used a brush I wouldn't normally use and gave me marks I wouldn't normally expect, because those are really such organic shapes, but I was not enjoying the process of using that brush, so I put it up. But now looking at those flowers, I really, really love the marks that I got from them. So I don't know, maybe I'll play with that brush again, because it did give me such organic shapes there. So we'll see. So I end up using this much smaller brush, I think, for the rest of it. And I'm combining colors I would normally combine, like that light pink on top of that's like a parchment-y yellow. And so, so like I said, I really liked the flowers on this one more. And maybe it was because I used that weird brush. So I should experiment with that some more. This is also a new brush. I bought some new brushes not long ago. And this is one of those like really long, skinny brushes. And it was interesting. So I am back over to this one. Going to add some more green on here, because I realized I didn't add any leaves on here. I think I also do some painting between the flowers. And I'm going to add some other colors now that this is kind of dry. Like I said, working on 2 different paintings at one time was fabulous because it gave time for it to dry so I could layer things up. And I really, really enjoyed that because some of these marks that I'm getting on here, I would not have gotten while all that other paint was still so wet. So these are very organic and odd. So I'm looking at them. I'm coming back in to this one. I don't think it was completely dry yet, but it was drier. And as I play with it, yeah, gracious. I think one of my favorite things I did here was put these orange dots in the center of those yellow and pink flowers. So I'm swapping between those. I'm trying to add some yellow and oranges to the center of these flowers so it looks like they have the, my goodness, I don't know, flower anatomy, the part where the pollen is. What is that? I used to know. Yeah, I know I've passed tests on that. All right, and now I want to give these kind of something that they're, oh no, I'm bringing my crayons, my colored pencils back in to give a little more definition, some shapes, some textures in here that I wasn't getting with the paints. So I pulled out some colors that I wanted. I've got like a red or a red orange and a pink and a purple and some yellows and oranges that I'm trying to bring out some of those center portions and then add texture to the flowers themselves. You see, I didn't bring out any green, which was crazy. I will get to that at some point, I promise. And the second one that I do, I end up adding colors that are kind of odd, not on the green one, but on the gray one. I will add colors that are odd for the flowers, and I love the effect that I'm going to get from that. I think you'll get to see that. We'll get there, and I may end up talking my way through this. So I decided to paint like a table there, that these are going to be resting on a table. The line that I draw there, I thought that the right portion of this, I was going to make a vase. And I realized later that it's much more space than I actually need. So I will, what am I doing now? I think I'm going to paint in, some of the green spaces there, thinking that leaves would be all up in there. It was not the best decision I've ever made. See, and there's where I realized I had botanicals over on that side, and futzing, not making great decisions, just trying to, I don't know, make things look a little more natural, but at the same time, I know this is very abstract and not real, and it's okay. So, lessons learned here. I need to add more foliage if I'm going to add that much green to something. All right, so I needed to, I wanted to focus kind of on the background and on that table. So I think I'm going to start with the table, and I've got a brown, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of my white acrylic paint to get a lighter brown, because I was going to, this is a wood table, and the white is great because that, like I said, that sample acrylic paint that I've got is fairly thick, and adding the white is more of a craft paint, and it's a bit thinner, and so it's nice to help thin this out so that it moves. I could use some kind of medium in there, and that would be probably optimal, but whatever. So I paint that portion of my table, and then I mixed up some light blue with some of that white, again, to help that blue move a little bit more. And now and I think I'm going to speed this up quite a bit, and I'm just painting the background of this. I've got a fairly fine brush to get the details between the flowers here, and I will move to a larger brush, I think, at some point maybe. But I'm going to add some music here for a little bit while I am putting this detail painting in, but I wanted you to see kind of the process of it. now that I got all of that background painted, I'm coming back in with, I don't even know what color that is, y'all. Maybe a dark green? I don't remember. Just going over some of those botanicals. Yeah, I'm doing the greens here, adding some accents to the botanicals, to the green portions, the leaves and all of that are in there, giving them bits of shadow and that texture that I did on the flowers. I think I'll probably add more into the flowers as well here, but this is how, I was envisioning using colored pencils. It's one of my favorite things. I'm so glad I ordered that big set of 60 so I can play with more than 24 colors. All right, so what is happening here? Yeah, there's a pink. There's just trying to get some of the lines to even up, giving this more of a whimsical feel to all of it, and just futzing. And I probably futz too much. There's things that I probably should have sat back and looked at and thought about, like, what do I want the textures to be? Where would the light be hitting? And those kind of things. But it's okay. This is all my experimenting. It's a learning process. If you saw my Seek, Gather, Create, it's my daring to fail because this might not work out. Now I am pulling in a blue here to kind of, I don't know, give almost a shadow or something around it. Sometimes when you work with I don't know. There's something about the transition of one color to another that it seems darker at the edges. I don't know what that's called, but it's something I've noticed in art and whatnot. So I'm finally bringing in the white marker portion of this. I've got this China marker. I am using it to add like highlights within these flowers and the leaves. And yeah, so I will do that. And it gives, I really enjoyed using this China marker. And I decided at some point here that I need to be a little bit braver and use the, one of those color paint pens. Oh my gosh. Use one of those paint pens. I'll bring that in for more white. But I wanted more sketchiness, but like seriously thin and kind of, I don't know, unobtrusive. And so I've got just a cheap mechanical pencil. I don't know why I can't think of words right now. It's just a cheap mechanical pencil that I kind of just did some sketchiness around. So you can see how there I'm thinking about bringing my ribbon in as the vase of this bouquet. So that's where I realized, oh no, I need this brown across the whole bottom of this. So I'm going to go ahead and paint it real quick. I think I might even dry it because I was anxious to go ahead and start putting that ribbon down. Yep, I go ahead and dry it and start looking at that ribbon. So I'm going to cut it down because I don't know, like I said, I thought it was going to span like that whole right side of it, but it hit me that I don't really need it. For that few of flowers, you would use a fairly small vase, so I need to make a fairly small vase. And I am just going to layer these ribbons one on top of each other going down. Now, I am going to make sure that that first ribbon is a little bit higher than my table line so that, it has a little bit of dimension to it because y'all, yeah, it needed some kind of, it's not perspective. Is it perspective? Maybe it is. It needed to be a little bit higher. And I'm just putting Fabri-Tac down on there for the width of how I want my ribbon, making sure that I overlap these a little bit so that there's no gaps. And going down this, and I'm trimming it as I go. So I put down my glue, put down my ribbon, and then once it's stuck a little bit, trim it. So this is, yeah, so far I have used all three of my prompts. I will bring in, whatchamacallit, some of those paint pens here in a little bit, but I was pretty happy with this so far. It looks really neat. I could have used the ribbon to get some maybe, and it's not so much a straight line because the ribbon's not cut exactly perfect, so it's got a little bit of a shape to it, but I could have had it more shapely, like widen out and be more rounded, like a fatter bottom or something like that. But I think this is great. I'm really thrilled with how this looks. So I'm going to put my last little strip of ribbon here. And initially in my head, I had thought about having the ribbon as like just making a bow with some longer length of ribbon and having it around a drawn vase and just gluing the ribbon on that way. But that's when I hit on this idea of just making the whole vase out of the ribbon, and it's pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I decided my table needed some texture and dimension to it, so I think I'm going to use 2 different brown pencils to kind of make wood grain lines in there. So I'm doing it with the lighter one first, and it's one of those things that only in a certain light are you going to see these lines that I've created. You have to kind of like hold it. Now in my second one, while my paint was still wet, I drew lines in it with a bamboo skewer, which gives it some more physical texture instead of this more visual texture that I'm adding with the colored pencil. So, and I'm also adding a little bit of shadow there around the edges. And since I've got that brown out and it's got some great color to it, I'm going to go ahead and use it on some of the flowers in a couple places, just fairly lightly. Nothing crazy, but it does, yeah, it's pretty nice to give it a little bit more shadow and dimension. And I don't know, I keep saying shadow. I don't know what I'm talking about, y'all. I've not taken art. I don't really know. It gives it more feeling to it, I suppose. All right, so here's me being brave and grabbing that Sharpie white. It's a water-based white marker. Paint marker is I think what they actually call it. And you can see I wasn't being brave at first. I was like blurring it, and I was like, no, what I need to do is actually go for it. I did make some dots there in the center of this one, which is kind of fun. And I start, kind of slowly just adding little bits of things, little touches here and there that I thought, I think I need to study how best to add highlights and things a little bit more. But this was fun. It was definitely fun to do. On here at the end of this, I am going to talk through both of the works that I did real quick, or at least tell you a little bit more about the second one that I did. But for now, I've got this one going for you. I think I'm even going to add a line across the top of the table here before I finish this one up. So we're just about at the end of this one. I was really happy with that. I kept looking at it, the viewfinder, and I was like, that looks pretty sweet. I can't believe I just made that. So I'm real glad I experimented. Okay, I want to reveal these both real quick. This is the one you saw me do in entirety. I really like how, I don't know if you can see it, it's gotten dark outside, so some of the green peeks through around the blues. I got so much texture in this one. It is really fabulous. This one, I don't know, I didn't get quite as much texture. I'm wondering actually, where's my China marker, if that would help, because that gave quite a bit of texture in the other one, I think. And I know it's nothing fancy. It's a hardware store basically item, and I don't know. These I liked. Yeah, I think that works a lot better actually. And this one I put this velvety ribbon. It is in not great condition, but I thought it would work great as the vase here. And the background on this one just did not have, this one has some of the texture from some of the collage, You may not be able to see it in the video, but I can see it. And this was really flat in the background, so I added some stamping. And it's funny because this is velvet and I used Victorian velvet to make these stamps. So I'm pretty happy with these for a first attempt at something like this. This paper, as much as I do love it, it did roll from the collaging and all the media I added to it. So lesson learned, but you know, once I mount it, it might be okay. If I mount it or frame it or whatever, it might be okay. So I'm happy with those. I'm gonna give you some better looks at them, and thanks so much for watching, y'all. If you like this, give me a thumbs up, questions, do all that, and I will see y'all later.